Why should we travel to the American Midwest? What can we learn from these endless plains and cornfields? Is there wisdom in the quiet? Let us explore. It is not the glamour of New York or the innovation of California that we seek today. We look for something far more fundamental and deep in the heartland. We search for the profound insights found in the quiet, vast heart of the American heartland and its deep, productive history. Welcome. Surprisingly, some of America's most vital insights in philosophy, humanities, and management were born right here in the quiet and unassuming Midwest plains. In the center of the American map lies a vast region. People call it the Midwest, the geographic and productive heart of America. This area includes states like Illinois, Missouri, Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, and Ohio. It is truly immense and vital territory for the nation. The defining characteristic of this land is simple yet overwhelming. It is composed of vast, perfectly flat plains that stretch for miles. You can drive for hundreds of kilometers without seeing a single mountain on the wide and open Midwestern horizon ahead. Humbling scale. This lack of physical elevation forces the human mind to look inward, and then outward, toward infinite human possibilities and the future. Philosophically, this unique environment changes how we think. The endless plains pose a single, profound question to every soul that visits. The question is, what will you create? Because in this place, almost nothing was pre-made for the early settlers. They had to build. What will you create? This simple query drove the development of a region that would soon feed the entire world and drive global markets. Unlike the established cities of the East, the Midwest demanded that everything be built from the ground up by pioneers with vision. Within this black earth lay the potential for a global breadbasket, waiting only for the hands of the determined and the wise. In the 19th century, America began developing this region as the global center of its burgeoning agricultural industry for the world. Countless farmers migrated here, cultivating the land to grow corn, wheat, and soybeans on an unprecedented scale. They fed the planet. They transformed the wild prairie into a disciplined grid of productivity, producing the essential fuel for a rapidly growing and hungry nation. Every kernel of corn and every grain of wheat became a building block for the world's most powerful and resilient global economy. Through grit and tireless toil, these early farmers laid the foundation for America's rise as a global economic superpower and producer. Even today, the American Midwest remains one of the largest and most efficient grain-producing regions in the modern world. Global scale. A significant portion of the global food market is supplied by the output of this industrious region. Millions depend on its output. The influence of this land reaches far beyond its borders, feeding billions and stabilizing the global food supply in times of need. From the tables of local homes to the markets of distant nations, the Midwest bounty provides for the world. It is a silent provider. Therefore, the American Midwest is the invisible foundation upon which the entire U.S. and global economy is built. It is the base. From the perspective of the humanities, this carries an extremely important meaning for our civilization. It is where human culture begins. Civilization does not begin in the city. It begins in the field, with a stable and reliable production of food for all members. Food security is the first step towards social stability, cultural development, and the eventual birth of complex modern cities and societies. Aristotle called humans political animals, but in truth, we are also fundamentally agricultural animals at our core essence. We must eat. This insight reminds us that our highest achievements are only possible because of the quiet production of the farm. We are bound. Now, let us turn our attention to the pivotal economic capital of this entire region, the historic and industrious city of Chicago, Illinois. Chicago is the economic capital of the American Midwest, serving as its heart, its engine, and its strategic brain for the entire nation. In the late 19th century, this city grew into a global center for transportation and vital national connectivity. It became the gateway. The railroads connecting the east and west coasts all passed through Chicago, making it an indispensable link for growth and integration. This strategic location allowed Chicago to centralize the movement of goods and people across the entire vast American continent. The hub. In management terms, this is a prime example of a logistics network strategy in action on a continental scale. It is pure efficiency. Chicago was not a city that primarily produced goods, but a city that moved them with total and unprecedented efficiency. Built for movement. The strategic value of moving resources can be just as powerful as the act of producing them. Movement is the lifeblood of economy. This strategy created immense economic power, centralizing the flow of the nation's most vital agricultural resources into one point. Power. Grain, meat, steel, and finance. All of these converged in this single Midwestern metropolis to be traded globally on the world stage. The Chicago Board of Trade became one of the world's largest agricultural futures markets, a financial and intellectual innovation of the age. Here, the future itself became a commodity. It was an intellectual leap that transformed how we manage financial risk and global uncertainty. American philosophers John Dewey and William James were active in the Midwest, shaping this practical school of thought that values real-world results. Insight. Farmers could sell their crops even before they were harvested. This is the profound origin of the futures market that governs our world. This allowed for stability in a volatile world, ensuring that producers and buyers could plan for the future with total strategic clarity. In management, this was an innovation in risk management, protecting both the producers and the corporate buyers alike from market chaos. Strategic. Farmers reduced price risks, while corporations secured a stable supply for their long-term and vital industrial operations across the entire globe. Strategy. This system gave the people who produce our food the financial stability needed to continue their essential work for the benefit of all humanity. For the global market, it ensured a steady flow of resources, preventing the chaos of sudden shortages or devastating price spikes. It stabilized all. Philosophically, this is a way of designing the future by managing uncertainty through the power of legal contracts and human reason. Visionary. It is the application of human reason to the unpredictable forces of nature and the volatile movements of the global market. Human ingenuity. Now let us look at another fascinating case study of Midwestern innovation. Henry Ford and his truly revolutionary automobiles and production systems. Henry Ford developed the automotive industry in Michigan, another key state in the American Midwest industrial heartland, and its massive power. His true innovation was not merely the car itself, but the revolutionary way in which those cars were actually produced on a massive scale. Insight. He introduced the conveyor belt assembly system, which allowed for unprecedented speed, scale, and total industrial consistency across the factory floor. In management, this is known as the mass production revolution, and it changed the industrial world and our way of life forever. A true turn. Thanks to this system, the price of a car dropped significantly, finally making it accessible to the masses and changing the fabric of society. Impact. What was once a luxury for the few became a utility for the many, democratizing mobility and personal freedom for the human race. Change. Masterpiece. This innovation completely transformed the structure of modern industry and enabled the rise of the global middle class that we see today across the world. It brought affordable quality to millions, fundamentally altering the fabric of modern life and global consumption patterns across every single nation. Power. The legacy of this Midwestern innovation continues to shape our world, providing the essential products we rely on every single day. Modern masterpiece. At first, it looks like a simple landscape. But if you think deeply, a profound question begins to arise in you. You start to ask, how do these quiet and ordinary fields move the entire global economy so effectively today? In that moment, the journey stops being a sightseeing trip and becomes a masterclass on the world economy. You realize that even glamorous New York ultimately runs on the strength and productivity of these quiet cornfields. Completion. This is why a journey through the Midwest is quiet, but incredibly deep in its wisdom and its many lessons. Peace. Because beneath the surface of the ordinary, the hidden engines of the world are tirelessly working for us all. Power. Thank you for joining me on this intellectual journey today. I hope these insights serve you very well in life. Wisdom. Please subscribe to the Dr. James Ko Humanities channel and like this video to keep your soul nourished daily. System. I wish you all the best in your endeavors and your future journeys. May you find wisdom everywhere you look. Blessing. Follow our topics: American Midwest travel, Chicago economic history, pragmatism philosophy, and U.S. agricultural belt. Change. Also explore Ford Motor innovation, U.S. management insights, travel humanities, and the global supply chain structure. Excellence. Search for Midwest economic engine, pragmatic management philosophy, and Chicago commodity trading history. Masterclass. Also search Ford mass production revolution, U.S. agrarian foundations, and Midwestern intellectual history online. Masterpiece. For inquiries or collaborations, contact Dr. Jongmoon Ko, also known as James Ko, at k90391198@gmail.com. Collab. This 10-minute masterclass was produced by Dr. James Ko. Thank you for your time and intellectual curiosity today. Final.